This is presented by HPS Trade, Japanese freight forwarder in Thailand.
Hello, it's Iino. Today we have a special guest on YouTube. Today's guest is Mr. JT, a shipping investor. Nice to see you.
Iino-san, nice to see you.
I was also invited to appear on Mr. JT's channel, as part of a collaboration project on YouTube. I would like to ask Mr. JT many questions on my channel as well. I think most people in my channel are in shipping and logistics practice. You are a stockbroker, please briefly introduce yourself.
Thank you for inviting me. I am a YouTuber who predict and deliver the performance of stocks such as MOL and NYK. It's a stock, so things can go wrong. But I'm trying my best to research and distribute information that I hope will be of some benefit.
You are a businessman and an investor.
Yes, I'm an amateur investor. Not a professional stockbroker, or former banker or anything like that. So I'm researching and delivering from a layman's perspective. I do my best to deliver information that people want to know as much as possible, from a layman's perspective.
Thank you. Today, we're talking about shipping stocks. I know nothing about stocks, so I would like to ask various questions from various angles, some of which may be perilous.
I will try to answer as best I can.
Quick question. Mr. JT, how much money are you making in stocks right now?
Oh, you asked me it out of the blue. I had changed job, so I started investing with $154,000, including severance pay from my previous job. I have just a little over $230,000 in assets right now, so I have been able to increase that by about 150% in about a year. So far, I've done well in shipping stocks.
Are you making about $77,000?
Yes, I've made roughly that much profit.
In part because of the large original investment, but what a dreamy story.
I had not originally intended to buy that many shares, but there was a moment when I thought, this is the right time, so I spent all of my original capital.
That's great. By the way, how long have you been invested?
I've been investing for about 10 years, but I didn't really get into it until last spring.
Is that about the same time you started in shipping stocks?
I started it at the end of last July. I started looking into shipping stocks when I had heard that MOL's the stock's dividend was going to be great in its financial results.
Last year, freight rates spiked, so the stock must have gone up.
Yes, I think so. As I recall, NYK's shares were around 2,000 Japanese yen at the beginning of last year, and now they are over 10,000 Japanese yen.
5 times.
Now it's 5 times more.
I should have bought it.
That's what everyone thinks. Iino-san, I would like to ask. I didn't look at shipping stocks around January and February last year, so I only know from past articles. But at that time, did people think that container freight rates would keep this high level?
I don't think so. Because, last February or so, we still didn't know if it would last this long. We didn't think the high fares would last. It has been thought for 3 consecutive years that it would settle down around the Chinese New Year. As a result, there has been a past history of no change at all.
It feels like the logistics mess is going to be solved, and it has been for a long time.
Exactly.
There are people who have been holding stocks since last January, and they have made 5 times as much money in 1 year. I haven't made that much money.
This is not easy to understand. Nobody expected this to happen.
Yes. Personally, I think it will still go on, even from a layman's point of view.
I think it's hard to find a cause to go down for the rest of the year. I don't know what will happen, though.
I think so, too. For example, with NYK, the company's forecast was $72 billion. If it earned $72 billion in 1 year, it would be one of the top 10 in Japan in terms of profit. Even Kawasaki Kisen Keisha, the smallest of the three companies, will exceed $38 billion. And I estimate that it will eventually exceed $46 billion. If that continues for 2 years, I think they will become a rich company. So it will be a highlight in the future. I look at financial strength, in terms of capital adequacy ratios. As of last April, Kawasaki Kisen's capital adequacy ratio was 22%, which was a very difficult level financially, but it is now approaching 50%. And I estimate that it will be around 55% as of this April. But when I see that the company has changed to a completely different structure in the past year, and that it will continue to do so for another year, further improving its financial structure, I feel that I have a dream.
Does a good financial position lead to a better dividend?
I think the dividend could be better. Right now I am looking at 25% for NYK, and 20% for MOL. As capital adequacy ratio, a good financial structure means that the company's finances will not deteriorate, even if it pays out lots of dividends. So I believe that the company's structure is changing to one that makes it easier to pay dividends. Even if profits are not as high as last year, we expect this year's dividends to maintain or even exceed last year's. I have high expectations for MOL, based on the policies of the President and the comments of the Chief Financial Officer.
Stocks go up and down. At what timing do you sell or buy stocks? Is there some kind of standard?
The trend of people buying for the dividend has been strong the last 2 times. Last year's dividend was paid in September, so there was a big increase in August and September. At the time of this March X rights, it started going up a little earlier, around December. So it tends to start rising 3 to 4 months before the X rights date. Sometimes it is 2 months before. There is a possibility that it will gradually rise toward the dividend, but it is just a little bit difficult at this time.
Basically, do you buy when the dividend is fixed?
Yes. However, the dividend at the end of March this year was a big one, with NYK paying out 1,000 Japanese yen for a share price of about 10,000 Japanese yen. But no one knows yet how much they will get for the next dividend in September. NYK will announce it at the main closing in May. But we won't know until then. We will not know until we hear the financial results. Whether NYK or MOL will be able to say that they will pay a good dividend there, or that the shipping company will make a great profit in the past year. So, although it will be in the range of predictions, I think that they will announce good numbers.
So you buy more based on those projections. When do you sell? Is there a good time to sell?
It depends on how the stock price will move in the future. But I have 2 investment policies in mind. One is to hold it for a long time without selling it. I will hold on to it, at least until before the dividend rights, based on the irony that the dividend for this September will be good. In some cases, I may hold it even after that. So it's a form of holding it as a long-term investment. The other is that I have sold most of my shares without taking my dividend rights. and have some left over, so I'm thinking of buying more, when the timing is right and the price drops. I am considering these two policies.
That would mean earning roughly 10 million Japanese yen.
Yes, it's true. I think many people are doing better.
By the way, are there times when you lose?
From last August to about mid-September, there was a profit of about 10 million Japanese yen. After that, shipping stocks had a big plunge, from the end of September to the beginning of October, and it had a drop of about 7 million Japanese yen there.
Shocking, isn't it? 7 million yen is melting away.
That's right. I thought it would go up again, because of its good performance, but it didn't go up at all, and I didn't know what to do, because JPY 1 million was melting away every day.
What about these days? I think it's probably going down now, that fares are softening.
I had bought them before the dividend right was taken out. So I had a plus of about 5 million yen during the process. This time, it started falling about a week before the dividend right was taken out. So I could not read the timing of when it started falling well, and lost a little over 2 million yen. In the end, I think I made about 2.5 million yen from the shipping stocks this time.
The amount is large.
It is much lower than it was at one time, though. I'm buying it when I'm thinking, I can do this, so I'm doing it for a big price.
So it's like a concentrated investment.
That's right. Let's say you bought 10 shares of stock. If you were asked if you could always keep an eye on the situation of the shares you were buying, you would not be able to check the details of every single piece of information that comes out, would you? So I'll concentrate on shipping stocks and research them until I'm satisfied with them. And since my time is limited too, I'll research them as much as I can and buy them when I think I can. If I get bad information, I will concentrate my investment so that I can grasp the information and sell it.
Are the only shipping stocks you buy Japanese affiliated? MOL, Kawasaki Kisen, NYK, and so on.
I now have 500 shares of Kawasaki Kisen and 500 shares of MOL.
Other than that, for example, Maersk or a foreign shipping company, or a forwarder?
I would like to buy one, but the text is in English, and it is difficult to get information like in Japan. So I haven't tried that. There are other attractive overseas shipping companies, but I haven't gotten into them.
Certainly. With Japanese affiliated companies, information comes up in Japanese rapidly. So you gather information there, and use it to decide whether to invest or not.
Yes, I also think that Maersk and Hapag-Lloyd didn't pay that high of a dividend. For example, there is an overseas company called Starval Carrier in Greece, which at one time had a dividend of 20%. I thought that kind of company was interesting, but the level of information I could get was not as high as that of Japanese companies.
Mr. JT, are you in the stock market because it's fun? Or do you do it because you want to make a rag, or for some other reason?
Because I want to make money. I buy them here and there. I often compare it to golf, where you buy something with this kind of aim, and from this angle, it will go up. So I buy it. And when it actually goes up, I think, okay, I get a hole in one. It's fun to feel that way, But it also makes me happy when my money grows.
How do you get the information?
By looking at how the chart is moving and what its supply and demand relationship is.
Can someone who wants to do shipping stocks?
If you have $7,000, $700 will come in.
I don't think I can do it.
I think shipping stocks will continue to be interesting.
In this channel, I explain about international logistics knowledge for your better understanding. I hope this video will be a good support for your logistics job. If you have any shipment from Thailand or to Thailand, please feel free to contact me Iino-san anytime. Also, I'm very motivated to keep updating these videos. If you subscribe, press good or comment anything. Well, thank you. See you next time.